And the Lord spoke and said, next time you preach, you're going to preach on anger. And I turned around and I actually looked at Johnny because the Lord spoke so loud. I thought he was able to hear it too. I turned around and looked at him like, well, I guess he didn't hear that because he was staring straight ahead. But that's how loud the Lord spoke. I thought, anger. I'd like to preach on anything but anger. You know, how about some joy up in here, you know, and some happiness and peace. But when I began to study and the Lord gave me this, I'm telling you, sometimes we forget about little things, how they can start in our life. So if you will, stand for the reading of the Word. I'm going to go to Ephesians 4:26 and 27. It says, be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Neither give place to the devil. On down to 31. Said, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice.
Yes.
And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you.
Yes.
I've got some helpers here tonight. I've never used any kind of props or little people. But I want to go, I'm going to be talking about the story of Cain and Abel. It's in Genesis. If y'all want to go there, Genesis 4, if you want to read it later. But it talks about two brothers. I know y'all heard the story many times, but something I want to bring out tonight that is going to help, I think, our young people in everyday life. That you don't think about how the devil can creep in. Well, Cain and Abel were brothers, like I said. And Cain was a farmer. He tilled the land. He worked hard. He was good at what he done. And Abel tended sheep. So the thing was, Cain became jealous.
Amen.
The spirit of jealousy became on him because he thought he was a hard worker. I need Jordan up here. Come stand by me, Jordan. Just stand right here. Hold this up so everybody can see it. The spirit of jealousy became on Cain and made him just begin to dislike his own brother.
Come on.
He just kept thinking on it and thinking on it and thinking on it. And then they both brought an offering to the Lord. He's already jealous because he's working harder, he thinks, than his own brother. But then they brought an offering to the Lord. And the Lord accepted Abel's. But he says, I can't respect Cain. I don't know why. So like I said, he's already jealous. So then the spirit of self-pity. Where are you, self-pity? Hold it up so people can see. Spirit of self-pity came along. And he stood there and he said, mine was just as good as Abel's. What was wrong? Why didn't God accept mine? So he, instead of getting over it and praying about it and saying, God help me, he began to ponder these thoughts in his mind. And see how it starts out a little thing. And it gets a little bit bigger. That's my point tonight. If we don't stop the devil in his tracks, when he begins putting these thoughts in our minds, it will snowball, will overwhelm us till we're doing things we ain't got no business doing. That's right. We've lost our joy. We can't even see in front of us spiritually. We don't even know who we are anymore. He didn't even know who he was anymore. He had been turned into a totally different person. The self-pity. He sat and just couldn't believe his wasn't good enough. Then all of a sudden he began to feel like a failure. Because the spirit of failure came and sat on his shoulder. He began to think, I can never be as good as Abel. As long as Abel's around, can never be that good. Yeah. So he kept on pondering these thoughts till they got bigger and bigger, more overpowering in his mind and his heart. When things get in your mind and you let them go, they get in your heart and harden your heart. That's not what God wants. So then, here comes the spirit of rejection. Oh, he said, what was God thinking? I cannot believe God did not take my offering. Why wasn't it good enough? So then he sits down and begins to realize folks are going to know God did not accept me. I was rejected. So here comes the spirit of hurt. Hurt pride. His pride was so hurt because he just knew everybody was going to make fun of him and look down on him. So he kept just pondering and pondering until the spirit of bitterness took hold of his heart. Bitterness became anger.
Yes. Amen.
So tonight my thought is how it starts out as a little thing and it creeps up a little bit more if you're not careful. It gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And look at this. I used him because he's the tallest one. That's right. And Jordan was the smallest. I said, I want to start with him because that's how it starts out. I don't know who this is for, but I want you to look at your neighbor and say, it's time to let go and get rid of the anger. Because if you don't think that you got it, you may think you got it after tonight. Because these things I never thought of. So tonight, I don't know, like I said, when God spoke to me 3 weeks ago and told me to talk on anger, I did not know why. But I know it's for somebody. And God said, if you harbor any of these things in your heart or your mind, He will deliver you tonight.
Yes, He will.
These are things that we don't need to mess around with as a child of God. We need to learn to put the devil in his place. Take his tools and just break them. Say, I know who you are. I know where you're coming from. I don't need you. I don't need you. Okay, jealousy, go sit down. I don't need you. Come on, self-pity. Failure, you're out of my life. Come on, dear rejection. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. Anger, get out of here. Hallelujah. Lord, we don't need any of that in our life tonight. It took over. It took over Cain's life. Totally over him. Till he went out into the field. All these things was wrapped around his mind and his heart till he actually killed his brother. I just can't think that. I just cannot believe that. But that shows you how the spirit of the devil can just creep in a little bit at a time. So tonight, it's time to get rid of anger. So if you got it tonight, let's get rid of it. This is the place to do it.